There is a former judge and now a political pundit or a correspondent, you could say, for Fox News, Judge Andrew Napolitano. And he's a really interesting guy because he's always brought in on these various shows, whether it's Megyn Kelly or sometimes a little bit later with the Hannity stuff and the afternoon programs. And he's really a legal analyst on a lot of criminal cases that come up in terms of the burden of proof. And what I really like, what he says all the time is he very rarely, like other legal scholars or hosts or even people within the legal system, he doesn't refer to the prosecutors and the police as the people. And he doesn't refer to them very often as not only not the people, but the state. That is a word that he really does not like to use because he considers himself a constitutionalist, a libertarian, almost in the mold of a Barry Goldwater, Ron Paul, that sort of right-wing facet of the party. So what I really like about him is when he comes onto the show and he has to say that the state hasn't made their cases. He says the government has not made their case. And I really found that interesting because in a time period right now when political correctness is so embedded into our culture that every minority sort of wants their own delineation from others and not to be grouped and meshed in with everyone else. And they want their own official, again, delineation of who they are and what they stand for, and to not let that be bastardized in one way, shape, or form. And the thing is that someone like Andrew Napolitano, someone like myself, another constitutionalist, another libertarian who frankly doesn't even agree with most of the government's policies, I get a little offended when they say it's the people versus someone else, as they group me into that class, that I am part of this act of this sort of dragnet lifestyle that we have now with so much epidemic of police brutality, or just having the highest incarceration rate in the world the United States has. So I just find that really interesting that not only is the government not adapting the policies that I want to see adapted, then they sort of slip me in and pass along the buck to everyone. I'm not responsible for us having the highest incarceration rate. And I'm sure that if you're listening to this, you aren't responsible for it either. And I just want to rethink that element of the justice system, that perhaps an attorney could get up, a defense attorney, and while in trial say the government has not met their burden. And then we sort of change the scope, we change the conversation a little bit, we change the discourse of what is actually happening, how it is unraveling, are these laws really relevant? Is the whole criminal justice system just another apparatus of big failing government? And I have to say yes.